Yeah, I love storm chasing. Don't you guys love storm chasing as well? I love storm chasing. You guys love storm chasing? I do a lot. I love storm chasing.
TwistX is looking for the first chance of the season to deploy their wind speed measuring probe in the path of a tornado.
We're on a severe thunderstorm warning right in our county right now.
Yeah, storms have gone up all over.
The best place to be is in Texas today. We're hoping that this will be the opportunity to get our probe deployed in a tornado. Oh, I got a feeling about today.
Boom, with those winds.
Strong southerly winds. Yeah, it's very possible it could be pushing right in here. How's that?
What is that?
Is the truck all right?
Yeah. All right.
All of a sudden, I push on the accelerator, and there's no response.
It says check engine soon, and oil change is needed.
Oh, you got
Are
it.
you kidding me?
Why the hell is it doing that?
Wow, we're sending out a lot of black smoke.
Got it. It won't go?
This is floored.
I'm thinking to myself, the truck is kaput.
We have to get somewhere to get this darn thing fixed. At this point, storms have already initiated. Everybody else is chasing. It's no fun, damn it. Pisses me off.
Yeah.
We got to go to a GM dealer.
It pisses me
We got to
off.
find one. We got to drive to it immediately. Let's just limp this thing down the road the best we can.
Essentially, we can't go anywhere. We're done, and we're watching these storms move away from us, and it's oh my god, heart-wrenching.
I know.
Holy winds.
I do miss this guy, Tim Samares. It won't go. Nope. Oh, fucking hell is it doing that?
Oh. 2 miles closer to the tornado, TwistX heads to the northwest of Kirksville.
Okay, we're going to be taking 149. We're 2 miles behind.
I know, the damn internet's been so slow today. I'm getting very pissed off about it. I don't know why the hell is it doing that.
2 miles closer to the tornado, TwistX heads to the northwest of Kirksville.
Okay, we're going to be taking 149. We're 2 miles behind you.
149? Yeah, this is it.
The EF2 tornado, with wind speeds over 100 miles per hour, is bearing down on an area full of houses and power lines.
Geez, I hope we have some visibility here.
To make matters worse, the twister is wrapped in rain.
Poor town might be in trouble.
Be careful with this road, by the way. It kind of goes up in the hills and you lose visibility.
We're going to warn you about what to do when we get to the top.
All right, roger that. Yeah, we're just we're coming into town now. We're kind of fighting people stopped. Tornadoes crossing. Looks like right in front of us right now.
Partially rain wrap, so be careful in there.
Yeah, it is partially rain wrap. We don't have any visibility. It's a problem here. Yep.
I say we drop a probe right here.
Let's drop a probe right here.
Where's...
You can
hear it.
Yep. Let's go. Let's go.
Go!
Gonna miss our probe, damn it.
Damn it, there's no visibility.
Damn it, there's
The thing's moving really fast, probably too damn fast. Yeah, it's a big tornado. It's really rapid. Strong tornado. That's getting pretty intense.
Oh, there's lots of debris flying around.
Tornado is now crossing the road completely rain wrapped.
The tornado is just a little bit to the east of us now.
They say we go back
I
and
can
get
get that
that
road.
Go back and get the probe.
Perfect.
Perfect.
All right. Okay, very wet RFD right now. All right,
Our
probe is
cover's off.
We made it. We're
There is some pressure
drop
drop in the passage.
All right, let's go. We're now behind the tornado. We're going to come back through town.
How's Tony doing?
As the tornado passes Tim, it's on a collision course with Tony.
Inside the mega twist. It looks like El Reno will be the I'm trying. Right. Right. I know it's gonna be Spanish, but that's all I got.
Encontrou foram extremamente difíceis para.
But I know I really, hate it. I'm gonna see if I can get, National Geographic. I'm gonna see if I can get National Geographic. Sign the mega twist. I'm gonna see what's going on here. I really do not. Sign The Mega Twister. Full episode. If I can find it. It's inside the Mega Twister. Will this one work? I barely doubt it. I doubt it.
Holy crap! Wow! Oh, it's big, Dave!
Mega tornadoes happen once, maybe twice in a lifetime.
Oh man, that's going right at us.
Yeah, get loud!
Mother Nature unleashes her ultimate beatdown.
Whoa, just got the car blasted by a tornado!
Oh my gosh, this is a monster. The monster is the El Reno tornado. It's massive, fast,
Even along
and
I-40.
unpredictable.
Oh, big multi-vortex!
One by one, it dawns on all of us that this storm is different.
The 2.5 mile wide tornado wreaks havoc and kills 8 people.
I know.
Among them, a storm-chasing legend.
This tornado literally lunged out in their direction and hit them.
Now, using video from dozens of chasers who risked their lives to document the beast.
Remember that? National
pieced together this
Geographic?
complex storm.
Inside the Mega Twister?
Second by gut-wrenching second. The mission? Unravel the science behind the tornado that broke all the rules. And reveal how some of the most experienced storm chasers in the world got caught inside the Mega Twister.
Go, baby, go! Hit the gas!
This is a News 9 severe weather report.
All right, storms continuing to develop just west of Oklahoma City. These things are gradually intensifying.
The potential for tornadoes and very large hail will be greatest in the moderate risk area from 4 p.m. to 10 p.m. from the streets.
They're going to be very explosive today and go up very fast.
May 31st, 2013. Another hot, humid day in central Oklahoma. A blanket of warm, moist air covers the land, trapped beneath a level of dry air further up. It's the perfect prescription for wild weather, and storm chasers from around the world have taken notice.
Be weather savvy.
As the thunderheads rise, chasers converge on the town of El Reno, just west of Oklahoma City.
all these storm chasers are coming all over the place. There's like hundreds of them.
We got there plenty early and sat in a parking lot of a convenience store and watched all of the storm chasers and the Doppler radar trucks and everyone who is anyone driving around town waiting for the storm to fire.
Among them is one of the most respected storm chasers out there, National Geographic explorer Tim Samares. Samares was the first person to deploy instruments that measure what's happening inside a tornado. He engineered circular pods that record wind speeds and barometric pressure, data that's crucial for deciphering how destructive twisters work.
My mission is to get right up close to it, get in its path, deploy various pressure probes.
Tim's research requires him to take risks, but never unnecessary ones.
He's not an adrenaline chaser. He's trying to do serious scientific work.
Samares is in the area with his photographer son, Paul, and his longtime colleague and friend, meteorologist Carl Young. Earlier in the season, the Twistex team, as they call themselves, met up with some other chasers in Colorado.
Where are you guys driving this to?
The white Chevy Cobalt.
Now in Oklahoma, they make the decision to try and deploy their pods in front of the approaching storm.
All right, well, we do have Tim Samares on the line now. He is our storm chaser in Oklahoma. Tim, what are you seeing on the ground there in Oklahoma?
Boy, the ingredients coming together for a pretty awful day. We're looking for a supercell. Right now, especially in Central Oklahoma, and I-40 is currently targeting.
All right, thanks, Tim. Stay safe.
This is the last live broadcast Tim Samares will ever make. By 5:32 p.m., the towering thunderheads have reached 65,000 feet and have begun to rotate.
Look at this rapid motion.
The rotation is what makes it a supercell. It's a key ingredient for tornadoes, but it doesn't guarantee that one will form.
To give you a sense of the numbers, maybe 1 in 10,000 thunderstorms around the world is a supercell. How many supercells produce tornadoes? 1 in 10, maybe 1 in 5 at most. So you've got a tiny subset of a tiny subset.
This thing is definitely getting stronger.
Extremely dangerous and life-threatening situation.
5:35 p.m. Sirens blast in the town of El Reno. A tornado warning is now in effect.
The rotation is quite large with this, and it's now continuing to get stronger and stronger and larger. Just on south of I-40 now, it's exactly 5 miles due west and a half mile south of downtown El Reno.
I got goosebumps.
As the storm gathers strength, dozens of vehicles maneuver into position, jockeying for the most spectacular view. The harrowing events that are about to unfold will be captured in the rawest of detail. Taken together, the chasers' footage will peel back the layers of this terrifying storm and the deadly chaos it unleashed.
Look at the size of that monster.
Just after 6 p.m., an ominous cloud develops close to the ground. It's called a wall cloud, a sign that the storm's rotating updraft is intensifying, and a tornado is likely to touch down, or as chasers say, spin up.
It's coming down. It's coming down.
At 6:02, the first funnel appears.
Look at that. Holy cow.
On the ground now. It's moving this way.
Then you start seeing these snaky tendrils circulating beneath.
Woo, there goes good. Oh my God, right there. I'm taking down.
The small vortices circle each other, gaining strength.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh no. Oh man. Oh. Wind tornadoes. Just continuous vortices. Continuous vortices here.
3 or 4 vortices on the ground at one time.
Oh, look at it. Very strong. Keep going.
That's crazy. That's the most crazy multi-vortex action I've ever seen.
This thing continues. This is a huge tornado, and this thing is going to be an animal.
The persistence of the multiple vortices is not a good sign. If they coalesce, their destructive power will increase exponentially.
Turn into a wedge. Violent tornado. Violent. Oh. All right, right here's good. Right here's good. Stop. Intercept.
When it was multiple vortices wrapping up into a wedge, I knew that this was no average tornado.
This is coming towards us. Where are we going to go?
It's big and moving erratically.
Guys, this is really bad.
We're all in awe as we're looking at this tornado and seeing it become very intense and moving to the south of us.
We're okay. We're okay. There it is. Oh, we're in perfect position.
Or so they think.
This is going to get really ugly really fast here.
Everyone has been expecting the storm to move northeast, as tornadoes here usually do. But this tornado comes out of the gate heading south, sending the surprise chasers scattering.
Oh, turn. You gotta turn around. You gotta turn it. Turn it and forward. Go, baby, go! Hit the gas! We're okay. Go, keep going. Get in the car.
That is going to be a beast, Matt.
Guys, I don't know. That's getting kind of close. Let's get out of here.
Get in now. Get in now. Go. Turn it and floor it.
Here goes. It's on the ground.
30 miles west of Oklahoma City, a supercell is formed, spawning a number of small funnels.
Oh, there it is. Wowzer. It's violent.
Numerous tendrils swirling around and doing this remarkable, this mesmerizing sort of dance underneath the wall cloud.
Guys, I don't know. That's getting kind of close. Let's get out of here.
Tornadoes usually head northeast, but this one is moving south.
Go.
Directly towards a number of chasers who are suddenly clamoring to get out of its way. The circulation is a mile away and closing rapidly on meteorologist Gabe Garfield.
I'm driving to the south, and I look to the west, and I see that the tornado is still following us to the south. It's a spectacular tornado, wild motion. It's absolutely massive, and I've never seen a tornado like this. And we're getting nervous, and then it starts to speed up, and it's growing in size. And there's that moment where you realize, I might not be able to get away.
As Gabe flees south, he passes chasers Brett Wright and Brandon Sullivan, filming the tornado bearing down on them.
Brett, turn the car around. Let's get ready.
So I'm filming this tornado. It's in multi-vortex stage still. It's unlike anything I've ever seen.
Wow, this thing just keeps forming new vortices. Come right at us. Brett, we got 30 seconds.
It's 30 seconds already, and I'm not ready to go. I'm still anxious to film this tornado. But finally, I realize this tornado is too close, and it's at that same exact moment that I realize we're in trouble.
I was going as fast as I could. I really was.
No, no, Tyler, no! Go! Brendan, you have time, we're gonna die!
I'm losing it. I am terrified right now. I don't know if we're gonna make it out of here alive.
Go, Brendan, go! Okay, yes, it's right, go!
As Brandon and Brett flee south, they get caught within the southeast rim of the circulation, where winds exceed 120 miles per hour. They don't realize it, but they're actually inside the tornado. Even the jackrabbits are running for their lives.
Debris is the deadliest thing you have to watch out for a tornado. That's what most people die from. And getting, 2x4s and sheet metal flung at you at a high rate of speed is terrible. I could see the barn in front of me driving south, and then all of a sudden it blows apart. I just couldn't believe what was going on.
And I see a hay bale rolling across the highway right at us. I'm hoping that Brett sees it. Apparently he doesn't, because we just smashed right into the hay bale.
I can't see. Okay, that's fine.
My windshield wipers are broken. I have a terrible screeching sound as the metal from the windshield wiper goes across the glass.
Oh, total. Let's try it.
I realize the tornado is behind us. We look to be safe right now. My car is completely totaled.
Yeah, that's true. Let's try it.
Sullivan and Wright escape.
At the same time to the north, Heidi Farrar and Dave Demko have a clear view of the tornado as it moves southeast.
I think we need to go east.
Not yet, though.
Oh, it's going to see, the rain is behind us. Oh, my God.
As they film, Tim Samares' Chevy Cobalt passes through frame. The TwistX team is heading south on a course to intercept the tornado and plant their pods in its path. Inside the white Chevy, a camera is running. What it records will never be released. One of the only people to have seen the tape is Gabe Garfield.
So as they're going south, they see this tornado, and it is gigantic, and they're getting closer and closer. This is the point where Tim and Carl begin to sound nervous. They sound excited, but they sound nervous. They realize they're getting too close to this tornado.
The El Reno tornado has been on the ground for 7 minutes and traveled more than 2 miles. So far, most storm chasers have managed to stay out of its path. But once again, the tornado is about to catch them by surprise.
Oh my God, that's huge.
6:09 p.m., May 31st, 2013. From the moment it spun up 7 minutes ago, the El Reno tornado has been expanding. A big tornado might cut a path a few hundred yards wide. This one is already a mile at its base and getting bigger. From their position north of the storm, Heidi Farrar and Dave Demko have been watching the tornado moving away from them. Now, it's changing course.
We're noticing that the tornado is turning towards the north, and it is expanding very rapidly, just unlike anything we've seen before. Holy crap, Dave!
But for all of them don't know where
Heidi
to
gets
go.
very excited
They
at times
decide
around storms,
to
and she will have that rush of panic or fear, and we need to really pay attention to what we're doing in this moment because something's changing.
In fact, everything is changing. The tornado's size, speed, and direction, all at once.
It's multi-vortexing again. There's another one's going to touch down right here. Dave, I'm concerned about this coming back at us. It's coming down right here.
Heidi and Ferrari and Demko began to go west. Ferrari and Demko are too close to the tornado.
As the storm
and
expands across the
they
field
decide to
towards
bail
them,
west.
Dave slowly reverses to the west.
East, talking horn.
They bail west.
I'm scared right now. Please, please, please don't let anybody hit us. I have to put Tendo up. Please be careful. I'm really afraid somebody's going to smack into it. He's backing up.
I know.
Cindy's really going backwards.
Yeah, we're okay now. All right.
2 miles to their south, the Twistex team is circumnavigating the El Reno airport, right on the edge of the tornado.
At some point, debris hits their car, creates a thud. The visible part of the tornado is still to their south, but the wind field is upon them. They are inside the tornado and they don't even realize it. Tim says to Carl, we need to turn north.
We need to turn north.
Storm chasers Mikey Gribble and Matt Godel are just south of Twistex. They're not just skirting the edge of the circulation. They're inside it.
We're driving down Reformatory Road. The tornado is out to our west, just off my right side as we're driving south. And it's racing us to the intersection southeast. And right over my head is the tornado, just incredible violent motion in the clouds angling up over our heads. And at that moment, I'm thinking, this is it. We're done. I feel real lonely and think we're about to die.
I kind of fell into a sense of awe. This sense of awe and wonderment completely extinguished my fear. And all I could think of were my kids. I kissed them goodbye in my mind's eye. And I'm thinking, at any moment, we're about to be picked up and just tossed through the field.
The force of the wind shatters the car's windows.
The tornado's pulling on the car so hard that you can't accelerate. The back end of the car is swinging into the ditch, and inside of my car is getting pelted with rocks and dust.
Luckily, the storm begins to veer north, and they eventually pull clear.
I just wanted as far away from that tornado as I possibly could, as fast as I could get away. And so I just keep driving down 15th Street.
You okay?
Oh, dude, that was terrifying. Yeah. Man, we are so lucky to be alive. I know it.
Gabe Garfield is also driving east, but the tornado is catching up to him. It's only a minute or two behind, and he's not alone. A whole fleet of storm chasers is running east on a gravel road bordered by ditches and muddy fields. There's no place to hide.
The tornado is still following us, and it is still accelerating, and it's still growing in size. And we can see it spinning as fast as anything I've ever seen.
Their only hope is to reach Highway 81 before they're engulfed. There, they might stand a chance of outrunning the tornado by racing south on pavement.
Holy crap. Hold on.
But I can see this entire line of storm chasers, lots of cars with their white lights against that dark black mass. And I'm thinking, how are they going to get out alive? This tornado is trying to kill you. And we are relieved when we finally get to Highway 81. And we can finally turn south and get out of the way of this thing.
South Road, is this 81? Yes, this is 81. Thank the Lord. All right. Okay, that was a little close, but I'm glad we're on pavement. What? Waiting?
The tornado now is moving close to 40 miles per hour and still accelerating. It is almost 2 miles wide, and it is picking up in intensity.
Go, 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 go. Oh, God. Okay, we're fine.
About half a mile down from that turn onto 81, I see 15 or 20 cars that are stuck at a police roadblock. They're blocking the southbound lane of Highway 81. You have got to be kidding me. We have got to get out of here. Okay, go east, go east, go east. All right, go east. We end up taking a left turn onto 29th Street. And we drive and we drive and we drive for as long as we can. We are so traumatized by this storm that we don't really want to look at it. We don't want to see it. We have to get away.
In the last 7 minutes, the storm has veered from south to northeast. It's now taking dead aim at Highway 81.
Tornadoes just down the field, about 200 yards.
Everyone fleeing along this major thoroughfare has just become a sitting duck.
Everybody just go, go, go. Just keep going if you can. Okay, everybody come down. We gotta move.
6:18 p.m. The leading edge of the El Reno tornado reaches Highway 81.
Keep pushing southward. Stay with us. Push hard.
The next 5 minutes will be the deadliest in storm chasing history. Holy shoot. Just northeast of the storm's leading edge, a crew from the Weather Channel has a life and death decision to make. They can either flee south on 81 or try and escape to the north, the direction the storm seems to be heading.
Take your tornado precautions. This thing is absolutely horrendous.
They decide to go south.
It is a threat to your life. If you possibly... We are made up of a convoy of 3 vehicles, and I am the lead vehicle. We are followed by what we call the Bettis-mobile. The Bettis-mobile has Mike Bettis and his producer, Austin Anderson, and cameraman Brad Reynolds. The Bettis-mobile is followed by a satellite truck.
When the tornado slams into Highway 81 at nearly 60 miles an hour, it's 2 miles wide and still growing. But under the rain curtain, hidden mostly from view, lies an even greater threat. Powerful, erratic subvortices circling the main funnel. Each is as wide as a football field at its base, with winds nearing 200 miles an hour. As the tornado surges onto the highway, one subvortex heads directly towards the Weather Channel convoy.
We're cruising down 81. We're trying.
Each is as wide as a football field at its base, with winds nearing 200 miles an hour. As the tornado surges onto the highway, one subvortex heads directly towards the Weather Channel convoy.
We're cruising down 81. We're trying to get out of it. We're going probably about 75 miles an hour. I go to slow down, and the radio transmission comes from Mike Bettis. Gotta go faster, KP. Gotta go faster. Gotta go faster. Go as fast as you possibly can. The winds were hit head on. They just banked off to the left and completely disappeared.
I lost the footage.
Go as fast as you possibly can. And then all of a sudden, my vehicle is lifted up. I go airborne, maybe about a foot or two, but my 4 wheels aren't touching Highway 81, and just sucked me right into the ditch.
Hold on, brother.
Hold on.
Just behind him, inside the Bettis-mobile, a camera is rolling.
Everybody just go, go, go.
I'm in the ditch, and the next thing, I see the Bettis-mobile pass me on my left-hand side, and that vehicle went in the air, a fully loaded 2500 Suburban, went up in the air like an aircraft taken off at John F. Kennedy International Airport. They went at least 20 or 30 feet in the air. They got hit head on. The winds were hit head on. They just banked off to the left and completely disappeared.
The camera, still filming, is blown out a window as the truck is lifted. It captures the Bettis-mobile rolling away. Its 3 passengers still inside. Behind them, Kevin Perry is trapped in his car.
All of a sudden, whoosh, all of my windows are blown in. My world is brown, it's wet, it's horizontal, and it's loud. You can hear pebbles, stones, and pieces of farm building and corrugated steel and crap hitting the side of the vehicle. And you're talking to yourself, and I'm there and I'm talking. You're not going home in a plastic bag. You're not going home in a plastic bag. At this point, Mike Bettis, Austin Anderson, and Brad Reynolds are gone. They're gone. They disappeared. I'm in the ditch. I had no idea if I'm the only one living. No idea at this point what had happened to anybody.
– 6:19 p.m. The El Reno tornado will take 2 long minutes to cross Highway 81.
Cut it!
From there, it'll continue its rampage. Its next targets, Dan Robinson and the Twistex crew.
El Reno is getting pounded with hail, baseball-sized hail.
The El Reno tornado has been on the ground for over 15 minutes. It continues to surge northeast, now nearly 2.5 miles wide. 4 miles to the northwest, Heidi Farrar and Dave Demko are getting pounded by hail. It's common around tornadoes. Moisture drawn up by the storm gets frozen at high altitude and plummets back to Earth. Like everything else about this storm, the hail is supersized.
That's the biggest freaking hail I have ever seen. By far, that was a great one. Big in the freaking yards. Oh my God. I'm really fine. I can't believe this hail. That's so big. Holy crap, that's big. Dave, I don't think people normally see hail this big. Oh, jeez. Oh, poor cows.
We drive past stones on the ground that appear to be obviously larger than 6 inches.
Big hail! Look at that stuff. This is gnarly.
When you see something like that, you have kind of extreme reactions.
For radar operators monitoring the storm from a few miles away, the data set coming in is jaw-dropping. Normally, a storm that's been on the ground this long will start to weaken. But the El Reno storm is still growing stronger.
It's absolutely monstrous, unlike anything that we've ever observed. This is when it's approximately 2.5 miles wide. And within this very large tornado are what we call subvortices. These subvortices are moving at anywhere from 160 to 180 miles an hour, rotating around this larger tornado, this larger center of circulation. The winds within these subvortices are approaching 250 to 300 plus miles an hour.
At exactly that time, the Twistex team is racing east on Reuter Road, just north of the Maelstrom.
They think that they can drop south in front of the tornado and drop the pods and get out of the way. But they look and realize the tornado is already on Highway 81. There's no way they can deploy these pods.
Storm chaser Dan Robinson is also on Reuter Road, just a few hundred yards ahead of the Twistex team. They're both just beyond the northern edge of the rain curtain, so the dirt road is still dry.
It does not come into Oklahoma City, but it's starting to get into some populated areas. It's crossing Highway 81 right now, halfway between El Reno and...
Robinson gets to Highway 81 and continues east on Reuter Road. A camera in a car on Highway 81 catches the Twistex Chevy Cobalt crossing right behind Robinson.
Right on 81.
The Twistex team is thinking about one more attempt to get out in front of the storm and deploy their pods.
They're reading each other's minds at this point, and they agree to head east on Reuter.
West agreed to head east.
But they know that it's a very dangerous situation.
We know it's a
Just
very
ahead of Twistex, Dan's dashboard camera is recording an ominous calm that's also observed by the car behind.
Carl remarks curiously, "There's no rain around here. All the rain had stopped just to the east of Highway 81. So it's very eerie." Suddenly, Tim says, "I think actually we're in a bad spot."
I think we're in a bad
It's
spot.
at that point that the video cuts off.
At 6:21, the storm has crossed the highway and is tracking northeast. It's now 40 times larger than the average strong tornado, with powerful subvortices hurtling around inside it. At 6:22 p.m., the circulation engulfs Dan Robinson and the Twistex team.
We're gonna die! We're gonna die! We're gonna die! We're gonna die!
Heavy rain comes first. Then the winds hit, clawing at their cars as they try to escape.
Minds at this point, and they agree to head east on Reuter. But then
Robinson is also on Reuter Road, just a few hundred yards ahead of the Twistex team. They're both just beyond the northern edge of the rain curtain, so the dirt road is still dry.
It does not come into Oklahoma City, but it's starting to get into some populated areas. It's crossing Highway 81 right now, halfway between El Reno and...
Robinson gets to Highway 81 and continues east on Reuter Road. A camera in a car on Highway 81 catches the Twistex Chevy Cobalt crossing right behind Robinson.
Right on 81.
The Twistex team is thinking about one more attempt to get out in front of the storm and deploy their pods.
they're reading each other's minds at this point.
I
They
think we need to
agree
go
head
east.
on Reuter. But they know that it's a very dangerous situation.
Just ahead of Twistex, Dan's dashboard camera is recording an ominous calm that's also observed by the car behind.
Carl remarks curiously, "There's no rain around here. All the rain had stopped just to the east of Highway 81. So it's very eerie." Suddenly, Tim says, "I think actually we're in a bad spot."
I think we're in a bad
It's at that
spot.
point that the video cuts off.
At 6:21, the storm has crossed the highway and is tracking northeast. It's now 40 times larger than the average strong tornado, with powerful subvortices hurtling around inside it. At 6:22 p.m., the circulation engulfs Dan Robinson and the Twistex team. Heavy rain comes first. Then the winds hit, clawing at their cars as they try to escape.
Dan Robinson, from his video, you can see he's swerving left and right as he's being buffeted by these powerful winds, probably greater than 100 miles per hour, maybe even up to 120 or 130 miles per hour.
And these are conditions that the Twistex vehicle would have encountered as well. Extremely difficult
We're gonna
to
die!
negotiate.
We're gonna
especially
die!
in
We're gonna die! We're gonna
They're in a
die!
Chevy Cobalt. It doesn't have a whole lot of horsepower, and they're struggling to stay on the road in all likelihood.
Eventually, Dan pulls clear. But the road behind him is empty. The Twistex car never appears. Seemingly out of danger, Dan stops to film the storm. He manages to capture the tornado as it reaches maximum intensity, 22 minutes after it first touched down. Dan continues filming until a hailstorm shatters a window in his car and forces him to take shelter in a ditch.
Along Interstate 40, I would go north.
At 6:27 p.m., the tornado reaches Interstate 40, the main east-west thoroughfare linking El Reno to Oklahoma City. It wreaks havoc there for a full 15 minutes. Then, finally, at 6:43 p.m., after 16 miles and 41 minutes of chaos and destruction, the funnel dissipates, and the El Reno tornado simply disappears. In the immediate aftermath, even the most hardened storm chasers are simply relieved to be alive.
That was extremely scary. I have never experienced that before in my life.
All I have to say is, sweet, merciful crap, that was big.
Look at all this debris on the side of the road. Are you filming this?
I got more than I bargained for with that. Got my money's worth, so to speak.
That's a tornado hunt. That is a tornado hunt vehicle.
Oh my God.
In a field hundreds of yards from Highway 81, the Weather Channel's Bettis-mobile lies crushed.
I get out of my vehicle, and across the highway, hundreds of yards away, is the Bettis-mobile all crumpled up. Oh my God, and then I run across the highway and hop over this barbed wire fence. Here's Mike and Austin, and they're walking around. It's like, okay, everybody is alive. We made it.
They survived.
There's a freaking huge tank in the side of the guy's house.
Although the destruction stretches for miles,
Hello, you okay?
not a single person who was sheltering in the building dies during the storm. But as storm chasers begin to assess what happened, rumors start to circulate that not everyone has made it out alive.
That's a house.
It isn't until Saturday morning, June 1st, that the full extent of the previous day's destruction becomes apparent. The debris field is 16 miles long and nearly 3 miles wide in parts. Tornado researchers immediately begin retracing the storm's path.
We were there to document all of the tornado specifications, exactly how big it was, how long the path was, how strong it was.
It was escorted by the local sheriff, and we saw where there were overturned trucks and cars.
And I remember seeing this vehicle, and it was just crushed, and it looked severely out of place.
And I said, was anybody in here in this vehicle? And he says, yes, 3 people were in this vehicle, and they were killed. And there was the owner's manual. And I looked at it, and it said a 2009 Cobalt.
And all of a sudden, it's all coming together. It was a white Chevy Cobalt. There were 3 fatalities. I felt like somebody had kicked me in the stomach, and all the air out of my lungs had left.
National Geographic explorer Tim Samares, his research partner Carl Jung, and his son Paul are dead.
I just couldn't believe it. I couldn't process the information.
And I looked at it, and it said a 2009 Cobalt.
And all of a sudden, it's all coming
Sometimes
together.
it's a little too close.
It was a white Chevy Cobalt. There were 3 fatalities. I felt like somebody had kicked me in the stomach, and all the air out of my lungs had left.
National Geographic explorer Tim Samares, his research partner Carl Jung, and his son Paul are dead.
I just couldn't believe it. I couldn't process the information. I'd just seen them 13 days earlier in Kansas. We had had breakfast together.
News of the deaths races through the chaser community. No one can believe that it was this team that got hit. Tim Samares was an icon, a brilliant self-taught engineer who devised ways to get the data others only dreamed of. More importantly, he was a stickler for safety.
He would say, you've got to have an escape route.
Yeah, let's get out of here.
You've got to be able to get in, deploy, and get out and live another day.
Yep.
Not getting any better than that.
So this tragedy was magnified for me because here's the person, the icon, who preaches safety and is killed by a tornado.
In the wake of the disaster, National Geographic grantee Anton Simon launches the El Reno Survey Project, an attempt to gather, synchronize, and study all the video taken during the tornado. He's trying to understand what made this storm different. What made this the storm that killed Tim Samares? Anton and his team discover that the real wildcards were the powerful subvortices hidden inside the bigger tornado. At 6:19, it was one of these subvortices that struck the Weather Channel convoy on Highway 81. Then, the tornado advanced towards Dan Robinson and the Twistex team, with the subvortex still hurtling around it. Its internal wind speeds were over 175 miles an hour. At 6:22, the Twistex vehicle was driving east on Reuter Road, just a few hundred yards behind Dan Robinson. At 6:23, the subvortex barreled towards them on one of its circuits. It paused on top of them, hovering for 22 seconds and unleashing winds up to 200 miles an hour. More than strong enough to pick up the white Chevy and fling it into a field. The tornado advanced towards Dan Robinson and the Twistex team, with the subvortex still hurtling around it. Its internal wind speeds were over 175 miles an hour. At 6:22, the Twistex vehicle was driving east on Reuter Road, just a few hundred yards behind Dan Robinson. At 6:23, the subvortex barreled towards them on one of its circuits. It paused on top of them, hovering for 22 seconds and unleashing winds up to 200 miles an hour. More than strong enough to pick up the white Chevy and fling it in. It paused on top of them, hovering for 22 seconds. At 6:19, it was one of these subvortices that struck the Weather Channel convoy on Highway 81.
Preaches safety.
Anton and his team discover that the real wildcards were the powerful subvortices hidden inside the bigger tornado. At 6:19, it was one of these subvortices that struck the Weather Channel convoy on Highway 81. Then, the tornado advanced towards Dan Robinson and the Twistex team, with the subvortex still hurtling around it. Its internal wind speeds were over 175 miles an hour. At 6:22, The Twistex vehicle was driving east on Reuter Road, just a few hundred yards behind Dan Robinson. At 6:23, the subvortex barreled towards them on one of its circuits. It paused on top of them, hovering for 22 seconds and unleashing wind up to 200 miles an hour. Struck the Weather Channel convoy on Highway 81. Then, the tornado advanced towards Dan Robinson and the Twistex team, with the subvortex still hurtling around it. Its internal wind speeds were over 175 miles an hour. At 6:22, the Twistex vehicle was driving east on Reuter Road, just a few hundred yards behind Dan Robinson. At 6:23, the subvortex barreled towards them on one of its circuits. It paused on top of them, hovering for 22 seconds and unleashing winds up to 200 miles an hour. More than strong enough to pick up the white Chevy and fling it into a field half a mile away. Struck the Weather Channel convoy on Highway 81. Then, the tornado advanced towards Dan Robinson and the Twistex team, with the subvortex still hurtling around it. Its internal wind speeds were over 175 miles an hour. At 6:22, the Twistex vehicle was driving east on Reuter Road, just a few hundred yards behind Dan Robinson. At 6:23, the subvortex barreled towards them on one of its circuits. It paused on top of them, hovering for 22 seconds and unleashing winds up to 200 miles an hour. More than strong enough to pick up the white Chevy and fling it into a field half a mile away. Caught by a powerful tornado inside an epic one, Tim Samares, Paul Samares, and Carl Jung were simply in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Why didn't they stop? Why didn't they decide to hit the abort button and get out of there? I replay that over and over in my mind, and all I can say is, looking from the data that we have, this tornado literally lunged out in their direction and hit them. And so it just was bad luck.
And in some strange way, it's a tribute to Tim Samares' legacy that the storm there that did get him it's the greatest storm in so many ways.
Never before has a storm combined the size, speed, and unpredictability of the El Reno tornado.